What's up, guys? Welcome to the first episode of the Progressive Pastor Podcast, where we explore the intersections of justice, faith, and the church. My name is JT Young, and my pronouns are he, him. I am on staff at Concord Trinity United Methodist Church here in St. Louis, Missouri, and I am the Director of Discipleship and Missions.
Hey guys, my name is Kyle Baldwin. I am also on staff here at Concord Trinity. Pronouns are he, him. I am the Director of Family Ministry here at Concord Trinity, have been for the last couple months. We're super excited for this opportunity for us to kind of chat with you guys and be a little moment of your day as you are maybe driving or just listening and relaxing for your evening. Welcome to the Progressive Pastor Podcast.
Woohoo!
Yeah, so JT, what can people expect from the PPP?
You know, we're just gonna play it fast and loose. We don't really have a plan.
No, why would we do that?
Why? Yeah, we don't need that. But this is our attempt to talk about some of these issues that the church has long neglected to talk about. To aid our voices into the conversation and to give a platform to some of these conversations that have needed to happen for a long time, and to start thinking through as a church in a mainline denomination in a larger Midwestern city. About what these issues of justice look like for us. And so, you know, we know that there are lots of places and churches and individuals that are talking about various issues of justice and faith, and this is in no way meant to compete with those, but just to add an additional perspective of what it looks like for us here in this particular cultural context that we are both ministering in.
Yeah, and we're gonna be hitting on different topics. We'll be talking about that really range from a various variety, but we'll be talking about I said various variety, doesn't really make sense, but
it's a little redundant.
Just hang out with me anyway.
Yeah.
So we'll be talking about things like politics and LGBTQ issues and women in ministry, connections, and how we can do a better job as a church to reach those around us. Maybe talking to people that have been incarcerated or have incarcerated loved ones. We may even get to talk to our spouses at some point. You may get to meet them. We'll also, since we're both on staff at the same church, we'll have some of our staff members on here as well. You guys can get to know them and get to love them the way that we love them as well. But all this to say, we're hitting a wide variety of topics, some kind of hot button issues, both in the church and in society as a whole. And I will give you a little disclaimer. We are two white guys. So we may not be the best people to talk about these topics, which is why we're going to be bringing in some extra people to be talking about it. People that have lived out these experiences, people that are going through these day by day or have in the past. But yeah, two white dudes in a church mansplaining like LGBTQ issues is probably not the route that we want to go. So we're going to make sure that we avoid that at all costs.
And for what it's worth, Kyle and I are both white guys. By far not the whitest guy on staff.
Not a chance. It's not even a competition. You'll meet him in a couple episodes from now. Our new senior pastor, we loosely refer to him by a variety of nicknames like Casper the Ghost, Ebenezer Scrooge,
White
Noise.
Yeah.
No, his name's David. He's a super great guy. We really do love him a lot, and he is a phenomenal fit in here to the staff. He puts up with all of our nonsense on a day-to-day basis. And
we're all business all the time.
We don't know if he enjoys it or not. He claims that he does. But yeah, you'll get to meet him in a few weeks, along with Grace, our worship minister, and a lot of our support staff as well coming up.
So what we want to do in this episode, in addition to give you guys kind of a general intro to what we're going to be doing, we want to introduce ourselves and speak a little bit just about our personal lives and what we do here. We'll get into kind of our call story and how we ended up at Concord Trinity in a later episode. And chat a little bit about what keeps us coming back to the church amidst the fact that the church has long been a proponent of injustice and oppression of people throughout the world. So, for me, as I said, I oversee missions and discipleship here at Concord Trinity. I'm married. My partner, Ames, they use they, them pronouns, is wonderful and supportive. I've got 3 young kiddos. My oldest is our only boy. His name's Boston. My middle kiddo is Oakley, and my youngest is Caldy. And they are 3 phenomenal little kids that I absolutely love being able to raise and be around on a day-to-day basis. But in terms of what happens here at Concord Trinity, I oversee all of the adult education and spiritual formation. I indirectly oversee children and youth. I supervise Kyle here. And
He claims that he supervises me.
I delegate a lot to you.
That's what you say.
Yeah, it's part of the job. And I oversee all of our mission, service, and justice efforts here at the church. And that piece has really been built up and become more and more prominent over the last couple years. I'm really excited about where it's going. Again, in a future episode, we will talk about some of the...
Don't hit any spoilers.
I'm not going to drop any spoilers.
Oh,
we are going to
man.
talk about some of the cool things coming up in 2024 in a later episode. So that's what I do here at Concord Trinity. I've been on staff almost 3 years now. Before this, I lived in Pennsylvania, pastored a church there for a couple years, and
What were you doing in Pennsylvania?
prior to that,
I
I pastored a church in Pennsylvania. Before I went to Pennsylvania, I was in seminary in New Jersey for 3 years.
Where were you? Where'd you go to seminary?
It was a small little school known as Princeton, and
I don't think I've heard of that.
I don't like to talk about it very much, but
Doesn't ring a bell.
it's a major Ivy League in the Northeast. Anyway, so I did my Master of Divinity there, and did my undergrad right here outside of St. Louis at Lindenwood University. Go Lions! Played football there for 4 years. Did my degree in religion. I did not ride the bench. I was a 2-year starter on the offensive line. My knees have never hurt worse.
Yeah, sounds about right.
They make noises when I walk upstairs, and I'm 31.
That's not great.
It's not good. So that's me. Like I said, we'll talk about our call stories, a little bit about how we ended up here, how we ended up in ministry on a later episode, but that is just a little bit about me.
Now that JT's done rambling for so long, I finally get a chance to breathe for once, so thanks for offering that up to
really
me.
mature.
Yeah. But yeah, like I said, my name's Kyle. I've only been on staff here at Concord for just about 6 months now. It has been a whirlwind of a 6 months. Haven't really had a chance to breathe since I've been on staff here. Coming in, I had I think 3 days to kind of acclimate myself, and then got thrown on a bus to go on a mission trip with some youth kids.
You don't do anything.
That's not true.
It's
Some of us have to work here. I carry that load. But yeah, it's been a great time. Yeah, it's been a wild transition. It's been one that I'm still admittedly trying to figure out. Mostly too because I come from a Baptist background. I was raised in the Southern Baptist Church with my family. So being just new to the Methodist denomination as a whole is brand new to me, and figuring out the nuances of what that is and what worship is like. But I've really enjoyed my time here, and really looking forward to what God has prepared for us here. My wife and I, her name's Elena. She, her pronouns. She is the light of my life. She makes me look so much better than I really am. She is.
You said all these same things about me the other day.
But we weren't recording. Okay?
Dude, okay.
No, she's phenomenal. She actually, we don't have any kids yet. She is pregnant with our first child right now. It is
JT.
a little boy, not named JT. His name's gonna be Hudson. But yeah, she's gonna be due at the beginning of summer, which we're super excited about. Getting to start that. But yeah, my family really travels as a family unit. When we came to Concord Trinity, we kind of doubled the size of the attendance because we brought my parents and my sister along with us as well. It's kind of how it goes, but um,
You're making it sound like our Sunday attendance is 4 people.
it's not.
It's not.
Yeah, but no, we get made fun of a lot for how we just all kind of travel in a pack, but that's just kind of how the Baldwins roll. But yeah, we're really excited. My course in ministry, I've been a youth pastor for 5 years now. My course in ministry has been kind of a rocky one. I've had a lot of great highs. I've also had a lot of interesting lows, just part of that being a pastor through the pandemic. Had a lot of its challenges. A pastor going through times of racial tension and having to navigate those, especially from a Southern Baptist background, is one that you kind of have to navigate in an interesting way. So, yeah, it's been quite extensive, and yeah, like JT said, we'll go more into our stories in our next episode and how we got here and what that looked like for us. But I think the thing that keeps me coming back to church, and the reason why I found myself here at Concord, is the hope that I feel in the church, and that's really why we want to bring this podcast forward to you guys, is to also be a light of hope to you all as well. At the time that we're recording this, actually, just a couple days ago, the really amazing news that Pope Francis has said that the Catholic Church will allow blessings to same-sex couples.
Shout out to Pope Frank.
Yeah, really, really. This was the interesting conversation we got into with myself and JT and with David, our senior pastor. A massive step in the right direction for the church. But however, it also is incredibly frustrating, because we feel like this should be something that should have been taken care of many, many years ago, and this shouldn't be a topic of conversation that we're having today. But so this idea of, wow, we get to celebrate this great achievement that the church has made, but also the struggle and the agony that I almost would say of, why can't we just continue to move forward? I think that's what keeps me reinvigorated here at ministry, that even though we get to celebrate this great thing, there's the hope that I have that someday in the future we're going to get to celebrate the victory of inclusion and justice for all, and that's really what is getting me excited about this.
Yeah, I think similar to what Kyle said, I'm excited for, say, what the Catholic Church has recently come out with Pope Francis, all with the acknowledgement, right, that there's so much left to do, there's so much farther to go, and it's not dissimilar from where we're currently at in the Methodist Church. If you're connected to Methodism or not, you may know that the Methodist Church is currently going through this kind of big transition around human sexuality and the inclusion of LGBTQ folks. And we're, as a denomination, are wrestling through that, and we'll talk about that in future episodes more. But seeing things like Pope Francis come forward with this proclamation that same-sex couples can be blessed in the Roman Catholic Church is such a call for rejoicing. But I think we get in trouble when we stop there, when we stop with the rejoicing, when we feel like we've gotten to this point and we've done this great thing and now we can put it behind us. But there's so much more to do. There's so much more ground to cover in terms of that specific issue of the inclusion and belonging of LGBTQ folks in the church, that both in the Roman Catholic Church and outside of it. And I think that's, for me, the potential of seeing what the church can do at its best is what keeps me coming back. Like, my partner Ames, we'll talk about this later, and this is really Ames' story to tell. But grew up in a church context that was very, very painful, that was not healthy, that was not affirming, and has since really, really damaged the relationship between them and Christianity and them and the church. I never had that experience, and so I don't have that baggage coming into the church, and so I'm able to have eyes for where it's going and what it could be. And thinking about, here at Concord Trinity and other churches, we have a lot of people that are mobilized toward these issues of justice and service in the community. And I can't help but think about, what if every church and every Christian was mobilized toward issues of justice and service and inclusion, how that would reshape the world that we live in.
It's a crazy thing you say that. Isn't that almost kind of like the call that Jesus left us before?
You would think, Kyle.
Doesn't that sound familiar?
You would think. That's the way I interpret it. But, you know, I can't help but feel like we've become so insulated, and we've built our theologies so much around this kind of internal concept of individualistic salvation of the soul, and we've completely shunned the responsibility we have to the outside world and to fighting against injustice and fighting against oppression, that if we can reclaim that, and we can reclaim that from one church to the next, and that spreads, that would just create such a huge amount of hope for where we could go. And so I truly believe that the church and that the life and ministry of Jesus can transform this world that we live in. And that's what keeps me coming back, is the hope that someday that might be the case, both here in our church, as we embrace that vision more and more, but also in other churches around us.
Yeah, definitely. So, yeah, like we said, we're going to kind of dive into a lot of these things on later dates. You know, we also don't want to keep this as like, you know, a 3-hour portion of your day. We want to try to be little snippets, just to kind of give you guys encouragement and hope, and
just a little sprinkling.
Yeah, this little.
Just like a Salt Bay.
Yeah.
Like a Salt Bay of theological podcasts.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, that's definitely an image that you guys can paint in your own heads.
Yeah.
And it's one that will forever live in mine.
Well, you usually wear like skin tight t-shirts and stuff.
I do.
And
yeah.
You wear sunglasses inside all the time?
It really fits my figure, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good.
It's an aura of mystery is what I'm going for. Is it working?
It is working.
Okay, cool.
It is working.
Yeah.
Yes.
Anyway, guys, thanks so much for joining us today. You can be on the lookout. We'll be starting this process off, releasing an episode a month. So be sure to check out us on Spotify and Apple Music, and on YouTube as well, as we get this process going. But we're super excited to be on this journey with you guys, and we hope that this can serve as some encouragement to you as you are maybe walking through faith for the first time, reintroducing yourself to the faith, or maybe walking through some struggles in that as well. But we hope that we can just be some encouragement and light to you guys. So we look forward to seeing you guys next time.
Peace.